Can sound kill you? We all know that some sounds can be annoying. And sometimes sound can be painfully loud. But could sound ever be so dangerous that it could kill you instantly on the spot? Well, we are about to see just how powerful sound can be. So powerful that it can levitate objects. And yes, we are gonna uncover the most dangerous sound on Earth ever. But first, what do we actually mean by dangerous sound? And how loud is too loud? We can measure the level of a sound in units called decibels, and basically the bigger this decibel reading, the more dangerous the sound is likely to be. And so I have here a decibel meter, and as you can see, it's measuring the decibels as I speak. Now, at home, you can do the same, and you can just use a free decibel meter on your phone. And when it comes to decibels, any noise above 70 decibels for a prolonged period may start to damage your hearing. And any noise above 120 can instantly damage your ears. And with that known, let the hunt begin for the most dangerous noise in our homes. What could it be?
Welcome to the amplitude.
Are you a fan of Worcester sauce?
Okay, so the most dangerous noise in your home is most probably you, followed by a hairdryer. But these sounds are only dangerous over a prolonged period. So unless you're sat there with someone screaming in one ear and a hairdryer in the other all day long, your home is going to be relatively safe. To find the real dangerous sounds, we have to head outside. We start our journey at 120 decibels, where you're likely to start feeling the pain and ringing in your ears. Swiftly moving on to 140 decibels, even short exposure at this level begins to cause permanent ear damage. Increasing the level even further, it becomes hard to swallow and you experience sensations of being underwater. And then we reach a whopping 170 decibels, where permanent hearing loss is likely. So you get the picture. Sounds can be dangerous, and obviously the longer you spend around those sounds, the more damage they can cause. But the question that we all want to know the answer to is, how many decibels does it take to kill you? And is that even possible? Well, the general consensus is that anything above 185 decibels could be enough to kill us. A sound at that level could be so powerful that the pressure from the sound wave alone could fatally damage our organs. Pretty grim. But hang on, how can sound, so something that you can't even touch, be so powerful that it can cause that type of damage? I think we need to understand sound a little bit better. Now, you might think that sound is just something that you hear or something that makes a noise, but at its heart, sound is a series of vibrations. Think of an annoying morning alarm. That alarm has a bell. The bell is vibrating. As it vibrates, it causes the particles of air around it to vibrate too. Then those particles run into the air particles next to them, and so on and so on. As a result, the air molecules end up moving backwards and forwards as the sound travels along until it reaches your eardrum. Now, all sounds, even the quietest of whispers, have these vibrations. They have a power, and you can use this power to do unexpected things. Which brings me here to the Multisensory Devices Group in the Computer Science Department at UCL, where I have Professor Squirm, who has worked on acoustic levitation for the past 12 years. And here we have, what is it?
A phased array of transducers.
Otherwise known as an acoustic levitator. So, Professor Squirm, talk me through it. Like, what have we got here?
So what we have here is 256 speakers in the bottom, another 256 speakers on the top, and when we turn them all on, we can create a pattern of sound on which we can levitate an object.
Can we give it a go?
Absolutely. So I'm going to just put this polystyrene bead over here. So it's a little tiny bead. When we put it there and we can turn the system on, we can float this particle.
That's incredible! And there's nothing around it. That is just being held there by
Yeah,
sound.
yeah. So you can move your hand around. You can see there's nothing there.
But so I suppose, can we? I don't know if can we see the sound at all?
We can try. So when we put dry ice here, you can see the pattern of how the sounds are coming together to create that focal point there. We have 512 different waves that are coming together, and then they're making a pattern over there.
They're colliding in lots of different ways, and then that makes a whole different pattern. And then you use that pattern of sound to levitate the ball.
Yes, but you make it sound very slow. The thing is, we can do that 40,000 times a second. And as you can see now, what's going to happen is as soon as we go at that speed, you don't see the particle, you just see the whole pattern. So that's persistence of vision, and that's a 3D display.
I'm excited to ask this, but can we do anything else?
We can do some fun things here, yeah. So what we've shown you is just simple, basic things. So I think actions speak louder than words. Let's see.
That is awesome. That is the power of sound, holding that in the air. So not only was that absolutely incredible, it did show us just how powerful sound can be. So I was wondering, how powerful could sound get? You know, what if we just kept on increasing the decibel level? Well, here's the thing. When you reach 194 decibels, something absolutely awesome happens. Sound starts to become so powerful that it stops being a sound wave and instead becomes a shock wave. It travels faster than the speed of sound itself. It bunches up. It's like loads of noise hitting you all in one go. And that is powerful. But has it ever happened here on Earth? Well, yes, because in 1883 on the Indonesian island of Krakatoa, a volcanic eruption is estimated to have reached the highest ever level of decibel reading. Now, this eruption was absolutely devastating. It destroyed 2/3 of the island, causing tsunami waves 46 meters high. 100 miles away, the sound level was still 172 decibels. Now, that is loud. It's enough to permanently damage your hearing and even cause death. It could even be heard in Australia, which is 3,100 miles away. And even there, it sounded like a cannonball going off. So, can sound kill you? Well, unfortunately, yes. But that's not the whole of the story. We've seen how scientists are using their knowledge of sound to come up with applications that we never thought possible. The fact that you can use sound and acoustic levitation as invisible tweezers. And when it comes to other applications such as like levitation, yes, at the moment they can levitate small balls, but in theory, human levitation is also one day possible. So you never know. It might happen soon, and if it did, would you give it a go?